And because the car's lighter, it just means it dances through corners like that. Hello guys, and welcome to this Volks Wizard video. Now in today's video I want to answer a question that's been asked ever since the Golf GTI TCR was launched, and that is why you should buy one over the Golf R. Now when it came out it was a little bit cheaper, but since they put the Akrapovic exhaust on as standard for 2020 model year cars, it's actually £1,500 more expensive, which makes it very hard to justify. The good news is there are still loads of 2019 cars in the dealer network as ex-demos, and now you can buy a decent one with a performance pack for 30,000, even a little bit less, which is amazing value. But it's no good being cheap if it's not as good as a Golf R, and in this video I want to explain to you why it's actually a better hot hatch than the Golf R. So without any further ado, let's have a closer look at the Golf GTI TCR. Okay guys, I'm going to give you 10 reasons why I think the Golf GTI TCR is a better hot hatch than the Golf R. I don't want to upset anybody because the Golf R is a great car, I just think this one's better. So let's start off with the way it looks. Now looks are subjective, but hopefully we can all agree this is a more aggressive looking car than the Golf R. And if you're buying a hot hatch, that's quite good. It's not as in your face as say a Honda Civic Type R, but if you spec it say in black, it could look quite discreet. But it still has a degree of menace to it, which the Golf R doesn't really have. So yeah, I think the styling on this is perfect. I mean, look at that diffuser. You can never mistake that for any other Golf, while with the Golf R, you get the R-Line model that can look very similar. So styling wise, I hope we all agree the TCR is the winner. Okay guys, the second reason why the TCR beats the R is because of that colour. Now I know colour is subjective, but it's fact. That colour is exclusive to the TCR. Lapis Blue used to be exclusive to the Golf R, but now they've used it on the T-Roc R, and they've also used it on the Passat R-Line diesel, so that colour's no longer exclusive. And at the end of the day, it's just a nice blue. It just, you know, it's not a particularly special colour. Here we've got one of those trendy primer colours that admittedly aren't to everybody's taste. They're a bit Marmite, but it does work exceptionally well on this car because it highlights all the black bits that are exclusive to TCR. So the spoiler, the sills, the logo on the side there, diffuser, the spoiler here, and this car's got the black roof as well. Well, you can't get that on the Golf R, and it just works amazingly well with the tinted rear windows as well, the black wheels which come as part of a performance pack. It's great. I know some people want a more discreet car. You can have it in black and make it stealthier, but we've wanted a special colour for a GTI in the UK for a long time. It's been a long time coming, and I think it's great that the TCR lets us have it. Hopefully we all agree a hot hatch needs to be practical as well as fast, which brings me on to reason number 3 why the TCR beats the R, because it's more practical. Now it's basically the same car, but because it doesn't have four-wheel drive, it means the boot floor can be a little bit lower, and that means we have actually 10% more boot capacity here than we would in an R. So we get 380 litres versus 343. Okay, a big talking point when you compare TCR with R is which one goes faster, but we'll come to that later. For now we want to talk about which one stops faster. Now you could order on Golf R 7.5 a performance pack. It was £2,500. For that you got the 19-inch Spielberg wheels and you got uprated brakes. Well, the good news is that those uprated brakes are standard on the TCR. You don't even need to have a performance pack. They're not actually any bigger than the ones on the R, but they're two-piece, which makes a real difference because they're much better at dissipating heat. They also look pretty cool, but they are the same ones that were used on the Club Sport S, so they were the ones they set the ring record with. I'm not particularly sure they're up to a battering you'd get on a proper track day because the ring isn't particularly heavy on brakes, believe it or not, but they're still pretty cool to have, and they go a long way in justifying the extra £1,500 the car costs over the R. Okay, reason number 5 why the TCR trounces the R is the thorny subject of exclusivity. Now I know many of you may not be bothered if you drive down the road and see your car every time coming the other way, but it does matter to some people, especially if you're paying like £30,000 to £40,000 for a car like this. It also matters because it will affect how well the car holds its value in the longer term. Now I know there are 100 of these on the Auto Trader, but there are actually 1,000 Golf Rs because they've been making them for 5 years. There probably won't be many more TCRs on sale. I can't imagine many people are ordering them right now because they're over £40,000. If you order just the performance pack, that puts it into the luxury car tax bracket. I think somebody at Volkswagen wants this car to remain exclusive going by their pricing. So yeah, it definitely will be a much rarer car than the Golf R. Okay, reason number 6 why the TCR beats the Golf R is because it sounds a lot better, and that's very important if you have a hot hatch. Now, I've not driven a WLTP Golf R that I know of anyway, but apparently they're even quieter than the Golf R was pre-WLTP, and it wasn't that noisy then. When I had mine, I unplugged the exhaust flaps to make it a little bit boomier, but it was still pretty quiet. Both the 2020 model year TCR with a Krapovic and even this 2019 model year car with a standard exhaust still sound a lot better than a Golf R, as I'll demonstrate. You can tell by the way it sounds at idle. So start the engine, it's in sport mode and it's on cold start, but it doesn't get much quieter. I'll try and put the camera down, I'll leave the mic here and give it some gentle blips. It's still cold though. So hopefully you get an idea of what the TCR sounds like, and hopefully you'll hear a bit more of it when we go driving, which we'll go and do now. Okay guys, reason number 7 why TCR beats the Golf R is because you're not allowed to have 19-inch wheels without having dynamic chassis control, which means when you go over speed humps you can just press the mode button, put yourself into comfort mode, and the suspension slackens off a bit and it just makes it a lot more comfortable. And you know, I know people say 19s and normal suspension on the Golf Rs and GTIs is fine, but trust me, it's a lot better to have DCC. It also was fitted to the Club Sport S, which did the ring record, and that was actually run apparently in comfort mode because it handled the rings, bumps and compressions a lot better in that mode. So don't think comfort mode is just to go over speed humps or take your gran out. It actually means that you can cover ground on a bumpy British B road far better. Okay, point number 7 when it comes to TCR versus R is fuel economy. Now you could say that's not a massively important factor when it comes to buying a hot hatch, but it's still important because the car needs to earn its keep, much like it needs to be practical. And the TCR beats the R to the tune of about 4 miles per gallon. The R will do about 32, while the TCR will do about 36. Now I know you're saying that's not a massive difference, but it adds up. I'll be buying one of these to commute. I'll be doing about 25 miles per day, and it sounds a lot better if it does over 35 than it sounds if it does just over 30. An upshot of that relative economy is that the TCR is better when it comes to CO2 emissions. So if you're a member of Extinction Rebellion but you still want to have a hot hatch, well, buy the TCR because it will only emit about 151 grams of CO2 per kilometre versus the R's 162. Okay guys, on to point number 9. Now when I've driven Golf Rs in the past, I've been amazed how fast I have to go to get a thrill from driving them. That's because the car is a technical feat of excellence because it can go so fast without troubling the driver. But if you're looking for a thrill from the process of driving, it's not ideal really, and it's dangerous because you can have an accident at high speeds. It's not good for your license either. In fact, it's completely irresponsible. I wouldn't recommend you did it. But the TCR is different. Much like the Up GTI, you can get a real buzz from driving it at relatively sane speeds. In fact, with a car on Cup 2s in sort of autumn going into winter, the lack of grip makes it quite a bit of a handful. And that was 60 miles an hour on a 60 mile an hour road. And yeah, I'm getting, in fact, it's only 55. That's 60, so let's just, I am nervous because I'm running Cup 2s, they're not warm, there's a bit of moisture around, temperature's single figure. You know, that's making me excited just for that, but I'm ready to do what I can to keep the car on the road and try and maintain the 60 miles an hour, which I'm allowed to do. Anyway, I'm going to have to, shall I brake? Ooh, a Lambo. And that's 59, drop a gear on the paddle, and into a 30. And that was exciting. Now in a Golf R, it would just go around the corners a lot more confidently. You know it would work, you just know it would get you around. Well, in this, especially on Cup 2s, it's giving me shivers down my spine. Okay guys, finally we're on to point number 10 of TCR versus R. A lot of people say to me the R's better than the TCR because it gets to 60 nearly a whole second faster than the TCR. And I say to them, well, that's pretty pointless, isn't it? Because who cares about 0 to 60? It's the most stupid test of a car. You're either going to be drag racing, which is a bit pointless, let's face it, or you're going to be racing people at traffic lights. And if you're watching this channel, that's not why you buy a hot hatch. You probably ought to be watching Car Wow because they're really into drag racing there. I'm more into corners like this one. And because the car's lighter, it just means it dances through corners like that. It also means it's better on the brakes, like that, and it means in every other test of a car, it's faster. I don't know what the in-gear test of this car is, but the power to weight ratio for the TCR is actually superior to the R. So once you get going, I'm pretty sure it's faster. You're not carrying all that weight around that's helped you get off from a standing start, but doesn't do anything for you any other time. So power to weight ratio of the TCR is 202 bhp per tonne, and for the R it's 198 bhp per tonne. So I think that's a really great way to end this video about the Golf GTI TCR. And like I said, the R is a brilliant car, but if you want fun driving and all the practicality you're used to in a Golf, then I think the TCR just does it that little bit better. Anyway, thanks for watching this Volks Wizard video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment, I'd love to hear your comments on this. Please share it, and I'll see you for the next one really soon.